Thanks for tuning in to the Organically Blunt Show, a show dedicated to cannabis and the lifestyle that surrounds it, including cultivation, business, music, food, and everything in between. If you like this podcast, be sure to subscribe and follow us. The content on this show is strictly for educational purposes only. Some things on this show may be considered harmful to some. Organically Blunt does not endorse any harmful activity. If you're not 18 or older, please exit now.
I am your host, Jay Blaze, with my co-host here. I'm going to give them a chance to introduce themselves. We got Twiggy here. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, nice to be here.
What's good with you, brother? It's Squints up in the show today.
And we are going to be discussing some of is strictly unfiltered, uncut, and raw. Post-processing, hardly. And it comes straight from the brain. No scripts, no nothing like that. And, you know, this show was strictly a dream. That's what it was. We all had a vision. We wanted to voice our opinions on different subjects that we're passionate about and give us a chance to be known for our opinions, our thoughts, and our views on different subjects. That is what Organically Blunt is. It is strictly organic. Comes straight from the mouth and the brain, and we don't sugarcoat it or candy coat it for anybody. That is exactly what this show is about, and we're glad to have everybody here. All right. So with that being said, we are going to start discussing some of the things that this podcast will be covering in the near future. And we're open to all input and suggestions that come along with that. We will have an email set up in the comments section where you can send any advice, questions, suggestions, show ideas, you name it. We got it. And we will put it into play and we'll make sure we get it covered for you. And if you have any questions regarding your grow or anything of that nature, or ask us any questions. If you have information that maybe we reported wrongly, let us know. Because we are not a professional. We are just here with the passion just like everybody else. So with that being said, you know, what motivates you guys? I mean, you guys, you get up every day, you put your left shoe on, you put your right shoe on. You pull your pants up, hopefully before you put your shoes on.
I've messed up a couple times, I can't lie to you.
Yeah, it happens. But, you know, with that being said, I mean, everybody has something that drives them every day. You know, there's a reason why you get up and do the things you do. There's a reason you go to work every day. And it's not just for your bills. There's something in life that you want to be bigger than. You want to be able to accomplish something. And, you know, that's what this show did for me as the main host, Jay Blaze. I wanted something where everybody could relate to us on a normal, standard basis, and a place where we could be heard. And this is exactly what I envisioned, and this is what motivated me to continue to do what I do. I wanted a way to be involved in the cannabis industry, but also a way where I could voice my own opinions. And podcastings are a growing thing that everybody's trying to get on the bandwagon because there's not a lot to do as much as there used to be before COVID. I mean, and we got to find a way to motivate ourselves, make ourselves happy, because I feel that a lot of people have gained what we call cabin fever from being trapped in their houses. You know, we're being quarantined to our houses. We're not able to go out and enjoy a concert, or you got to have a way to voice your opinion. And this is what we're doing. So, once again, welcome to the Organically Blunt podcast show. So with that being said, Squints, what motivates you? I mean, what makes you get up every day and do what you do? I'm not saying as a personal job or a career what you do. I'm saying like in life in general. Like what inspires you to continue to grow?
What inspires me to continue to grow? Goodness. You know, it's being in the profession that I'm in outside of this podcast. It's pretty hard for me to sit there and not include my profession. My motivation and my dream really started when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I was wrenching on B16s and B18 Hondas with my brothers. My grandfather, may he rest in peace, he unfortunately is no longer with us, nor is my grandmother. But that man instilled a work ethic into me that is absolutely beyond strong. I'm incredibly stubborn because of that, man. I have put blood, sweat, and literal tears into this profession, but at the end of the day, being a mechanic and a lube tech, I can sit there and say that without me, nobody would get to work. You wouldn't get your oil changed, your tires wouldn't get done, your transmission wouldn't get finished up. Before the truckers, I'm the reason everything's on the road. So I think that in itself makes me feel that much more proud.
Definitely. Generalized maintenance on anything, not just your life, not just a vehicle. You got to take that into account on every level of life. I mean, if you don't take care of what you do, including your vehicle, I mean, it's only going to last as long as it can last before it wears out. And people don't take into consideration some of the lower jobs that go unseen. I mean, I was in the logistics career myself prior to what I do now, and I can tell you right now that they don't get enough credit. The truck drivers and the people who are out there 16, 14 hours a day driving thousands of miles to get what you got in your refrigerator, what you're wearing on your back, what tires you have on your car. I mean, everything. Without them also, the world doesn't turn. And, that's what we got to realize is basically there's a lot of people that don't get the credit that they deserve. And that is one of the things we want to bring with this podcast. We want to give everybody a chance to get a chance to actually be in what they call, I would say, the limelight. Basically, you get your chance to shine. You get your 15 minutes of fame. And that's what we want to do. We've got a lot of things lined up for this show in the near future, so lose interest right now because definitely we got some cool interviews coming up. We got some cool concepts. We got definitely some new takes on some different subjects that might not have been reported on before. And at the end of the day, this is a learning process for all of us. So bear with us. We're here to relearn and reteach everything we do all over again. So every day is a learning process for all of us, I feel like. And that's what motivates me. What about you, Twiggy? You're being quiet over there, but let's hear some of your thoughts. Definitely. Don't be shy.
Jay Blaze, it's kind of hard because it takes one to know one, it's just, honestly, I never thought I'd see myself being here right now. A couple years back, I didn't know anybody that I'm with right now, I didn't know you. I didn't know Squints, I was just walking on my own, trying to fit in with everybody. Well, honestly, that's where I screwed up the first thing in life. Is, you don't have to sit here to actually... You don't have to make yourself be someone else just to be loved by everyone else. If you don't stand out, you ain't yourself. Now, for me, yeah, I'm not the smartest person. And I got a lot of people that tell me I might not even know what I'm doing. But in the end, I come here, I get to be able to talk, and I get to tell you guys how life kind of is. I mean, what really motivates me in the morning is I get up, I got my dog, I'm by myself, so I get up, I take care of her, I get myself ready, then I get a hold of y'all. I come out, I have a good time, I try to do stuff with people that are true to me. It's hard to really be able to talk to anybody nowadays. I mean, it seems like everybody's all two-faced, and it's sad to say it that way, but really, I mean, if you think about it, and it's like people I've worked with, honestly, in the past, you always notice that until you're not there, everybody's going to treat you as good as they can, but as soon as you're out of the picture, everybody's going to have a bad fucking word to talk about.
Definitely. That's just like the old saying goes, being two-faced. Kind of like the Batman movies back in the day when I was a kid, and I remember the original Two-Face. One side was ugly, one side was beautiful, hearsay. He was in a suit and tie on one side and looked like a monster on the other. And that's exactly how a figment of how people can be if you don't really trust the people you surround yourself with fully. I mean, there's good people and there's bad people out there. We're not pointing any fingers, and that's not what this show is about. But definitely, I agree with you. What you what you hear in a quiet room versus what you hear in a room full of people is totally different. And you got to make sure the person that you surround yourself with are saying the same conversation no matter how no matter how the room is. If it's full or empty, it doesn't matter. But, that's not 100% what this podcast is about. We're going to get into talking a little bit about cannabis too, because we definitely touched on the dreams and the motivations, but, cannabis also drives each one of us in a certain way too. And I want to hear what you like so far about what you know about it and what you would like to learn more about, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what motivates us all. Like me, as a personal person here, Jay Blaze, I'm motivated by the sense of knowledge and education. I'm a sponge. I'm going to absorb anything I can get my hands on, and I'm going to make sure I try to learn as much as I can. Because at the end of the day, I want to reteach the audience out there that's listening to this exact podcast and give them a chance to maybe explain the knowledge to somebody else that may not know. That's the whole thing for me that motivates me. And when it comes to cannabis, it's kind of like you said with your dog, for me. This is my level of connecting to the plant, I guess you'd say. It's almost like a child to me. You watch it bloom, you watch it sprout, you watch it grow, you nurture it, you talk to it, you take care of it. Yes, I talk to my plants. Laugh all you want. I play music for my plants, but my plants are like a baby to me. I want them to produce the best product they can. I want them to be as strong and healthy as they can, just like a kid. You want them to prosper. And that, at the end of the day, that is why my passion for what I do in cultivation and agriculture is so strong, because I love it, and that's what motivates me about cannabis is the community that surrounds it too is great. Everybody's willing to reteach everybody for the most part. As it becomes more mainstream and legalized and less embellished, it gives you a chance to basically appreciate the true art behind it. I mean, what's the difference between what we do as cultivation artists, or whatever you want to call us, weed nerds, versus a standard gardener or a scientist? They have their degrees. Yes, they have their knowledge that is far-fetched, way beyond any of my capabilities, especially when it comes into a lot of things such as splitting cells and all that. But that's another subject for another day. What I'm getting at is basically, at the end of the day, our passion is to grow too. And being that Michigan, where we're at, is now considered a recreational and medical state, it has been for some time, but it gives us a chance to all try our hand at it. Some of us fail, some of us don't, and at the end of the day, that's what life's about. You learn from your failures, and you prosper and grow with them. You know what I'm saying, guys. Exactly. I mean, and that's what we want to kind of let the audience know here, what this is going to be about and what they can expect. I mean, definitely, as we all grow as growers, we're gonna make mistakes, and we want you guys to call us out on them. We want to improve just like the rest of you guys. So, Squints and me, we've been growing together.
Going on since, 2019, I believe. Yeah, 2019 via March.
Yeah, I'd say roughly right around then is where we got our first grow together. We're going into basically our fourth grow together, our fourth year almost. We got some great genetics out there.
Phenomenal genetics.
We're working with...
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'd like to give a almost personalized shout out. We do have discounts on these as well. Captain Redbeard's phenomenal seed bank. My man has great genetics, always doing something huge. My people over at Dank Seeds always doing phenomenal. That man has been beyond dope.
Definitely. Jamie at Dank Seeds. Huge shout out to Jamie at Dank Seeds.
Absolutely love it.
Not only are they local to us in a hearsay here in their Michigan base, but that man has started my first seed other than a bag seed. My first true genetic. My first true bean came from Dank. And, a lot of people talked about different companies and say that, hey, the germination rates are not great, and they don't they don't sprout, they don't prosper, they don't grow. I've had failed. I can tell you that almost every dank seed I popped has germinated and had a taproot within like 24 to 48 hours. No problem. And I can tell you that they're tried, true, and trusted, strong genetics. I've never had a genetic herm on me. I've never had a genetic turn into or a male plant or anything like that. They've always, when he says they're feminized, they're feminized. And I can't complain. You know, that is probably my oldest connection in this industry is with Jamie from Dank Seeds. And we want to continue to give him our support. We've got a lot of other great genetic companies we work with, like you mentioned.
I'd like to give another shout out to Pheno Hut. He does absolutely phenomenal. I've got some of his rabbit hole. That stuff is absolutely nuts.
Definitely. You know, we worked with companies such as Pheno Hut, Dank Seeds, Captain Redbeard, SoFem Genetics, Green Wolf Genetics. I got to give a shout out to Rob Nope for his Grease Monkey. I'm telling you what. Grease Monkey is one of the one of the genetics that probably goes back for me and Squints the longest here. You know, when it became I guess you'd say legalized here in Michigan.
That's the one you got to hit the horn for, man.
Yeah, definitely. It'll put you on the couch, but it's also one of them ones that will make you appreciate it too. So we definitely can't wait to get some of that on our hands. That's what's going on in our grow. We got some great genetics going. You know, Twiggy over here, he's on his first grow with us, so bear with you guys. He's learning.
Excited. As a matter of fact, I got a personal question for my man Twigs over here. What do you think of this entire experience and what you got going on with the grow up, man? How do you personally feel about this whole situation?
Honestly, it's kind of nice. For the first time ever actually growing and learning a little bit about this, it puts myself in another position of where I can proceed more in life. I have more options. I have more skills, more knowledge right now. Right now I'm running a mix seed, and one of the genetics is like plushberry. That's about all I can really tell you guys right now. It is a tester seed. I mean, I'm trying to see where we're gonna go with this. I had some other choices, and I was like, you know, for the first time, I'm gonna try to hit it a little hard. I'm gonna try to see what I can't do. If I fail, I fail. I go right back at it, and I try again. I keep trying until I can actually produce something really good. Well, on that note, even outside of the cannabis and stuff, that's like everybody in life though. You always have to try hard for what you want. I mean, if you have a really good know-how in what you're doing, stay with it. I mean, there is no problem with wanting to know everything. There's not a problem with wanting to learn this and that. And if there's something that catches your eye, it doesn't even have to be a full-time employment for you. You don't have to make tons of money or anything off it. As long as you can comprehend you can grasp the comprehension behind it and just know what's going on in that field. Like that's a good feeling, you know? When I can wake up and be like, yeah, you know, I don't know a whole lot, but I can work on cars for the most part. I can keep my vehicles on the road. I can keep them going. I know how to do this and that, and you know. But now that I'm learning about growing my plant and stuff, it's put me in a whole nother perspective. You know, it's like I always thought of it as, it can't really be that hard to grow a plant. You know, I mean, you think about gardeners. Yeah, there is a lot of work that goes into it, but in the end, a lot of people, even going through school, you start doing like your let's say your tomato plants or something, whatever you did in school, high school and stuff. When you're in your chemistry class and they're teaching you how to grow and stuff, you just put a seed in the ground, you water it, and you watch it grow. Well, when it comes to growing like cannabis and stuff, you got to know all your nutrients. You got to know what to add to it to help give it the life it needs. Now that's like my dog personally. That's like, I know I gotta feed my dog. I gotta let my dog out. I gotta take her out for walks. I gotta keep her active, you know. And that's how to help keep a nice life going. But that's the same thing with a plant. You have to understand, you gotta have the right amount of light source. You have to have the right amount of water. You have to have all these things come in place for you to be able to have a really good plant. Now, I didn't know any of this coming into it. This is my first time, like everybody said. Now, it's nice in an aspect, you know. It's weird thinking that even a year ago, I couldn't have ever pictured myself doing anything like this, you know. Like, I had my doubts on wanting to grow my own stuff and what trouble you could potentially get yourself into, but especially being in Michigan, you know, it's really nice being in a state that is really legal for your medical and your, like, you got your medical shops, you got your recreational shops, and that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, it's nice to be able to be recreational. You know, you don't have to be licensed to be able to do stuff like this. You can go out, you can get what you need. As long as you're 21 and over, there is no problem with learning how to grow. And it's just, honestly, it's another experience. It gives you another option to be able to learn something in life. Because knowledge will bring you far. Even if you don't know anything, every little bit of knowledge you get will never be a problem. You can never know too much.
Definitely not. Not only that, but like my grandfather said, bless his soul, rest in heaven, you can't buy experience. And that's the one thing you're gaining from all of this is experience. You're gaining something that basically you can't replace it. You can't get it again. You can't. It's a one-time thing, and it's something you're not going to forget. You're gaining knowledge that basically is giving you, like you said, a chance to further yourself in different sections. And with that being said, you know, like I said, none of us are professionals. We learn every day, and we're always changing our tactics when it comes to growing. We're keying in on some of the newest techniques, which we're going to be discussing some of them techniques in the coming weeks here, such as low stress training and what that is and how to accomplish that. Possibly some scrogging, when we might get into doing some of that here in the near future.
I personally have never done scrogging, and I'll tell you that much. I'm super excited to go ahead and try that.
Definitely.
I've also wanted to discuss something ever since we've been talking about cannabis on this subject for a while. Microphoning. What does everybody think about microphoning? That's something that I've heard of. Shout out to Mendo Dope Boys. They have brought up microphone several times in a few episodes.
Definitely. Microphoning is a great way to definitely do it. A lot of people also know it as lollipopping. And, you know, basically from the third branch down, you're stripping the plants, if not more. Basically, everything under your canopy level, from what I gather, is stripped to basically put that nutrients and that energy that normally goes into them lower bud sites that doesn't produce anything. It puts all that energy where it needs it to be, which is up in the topper bud sites where the bigger buds grow. And we're going to all learn how to do this. I mean, I'm not saying I haven't done a little bit of it, and I'm no professional like I've said before, but we're going to learn it, and we're going to learn it and reteach it right alongside you guys, so you guys have an idea of this stuff. That's the whole thing. Is a lot of people are afraid to talk about their techniques and how to do it. It's like a hidden art. Well, and it may be, but not everybody's going to know. And this is where it gives us a chance to basically try different techniques in different atmospheres and different environments, and basically, hey, this works great. Oh, this don't work so great. You know, just like different strains we have here in Michigan. You know, a strain that might grow great in Michigan's atmosphere right outside might not work so great in Hawaii, you know, for example.
Let's actually touch on that subject. We are actually going to be working on a video footage of possibly the operation that we've got going on. If enough people get back to us on that, that's something that we'll start looking into. I also want to put onto the table that we have multiple different strains in the tent, and we've got a couple in what we call micro buckets. I want Jay Blaze to go ahead and talk about his own personal design that we're going to be running through this one. I'm super excited to see what we can produce out of this one, man.
Definitely. You know, a lot of people know them as space buckets, micro buckets. I call them it's an auto grow bucket system. I grow specifically autoflowers in these systems, utilizing a 5-gallon bucket system that actually uses a 3-gallon insert. At roughly 150 watts of power, you're getting enough power here to basically utilize that plant off a full spectrum. And some people argue that ain't enough, but these things, the record was 2.79 ounces in history out of a grow bucket system, using this system that I developed off of somebody else's development and designs. I kind of redesigned the wheel, I guess you'd say. And basically, I use some of the greatest products known to the market for most people when it comes to air circulation and moving it around, and that's AC Infinity. Shout out to them. You know, not endorsed by them, not sponsored by them. I'm just shouting out a great product that we use on their bucket system that I have developed. I haven't done a lot of video or a lot of photos on the system, let alone put a price on what they would cost to develop. I kind of kept this under hush. You know, I don't know if I want to patent the design yet or not. A lot of people say I should. I've looked into it, but I really want to get it dialed into where you can pull a 3 ounces off a autoflower grow and single grow off one plant. You know, and it's not unheard of. It's just a lot of training. You learn with autoflowers, they're very finicky. They don't like to be topped, but it can be done. They don't like to be defoliated heavily, but it can be done. You have to know what you're doing, and it is definitely something that everybody has a learning curve on. And basically, you know, I'm trying to cater it in. Like I said, my last prep show grow out in one, I pulled just over 2.5 ounces. If I could have pulled out another 1/2 ounce, I probably would have set a record for the biggest harvest off one of these, and that's my goal. You know, if I can accomplish that as a personal goal, like we said, goals, motivations, dreams here, you know, that's huge for me, because that means I've dialed it into where it needs to be. You know, if somebody can pull 3 ounces off a plant every 2 months, the standard person, that's going to last them a while. So then they're getting a great harvest, a great return off of one plant at a minimal cost, and that's what I'm trying to do. The great thing about these systems is not only are they smell proof, because I'm using a great charcoal filter system, using one of their T4 Cloudline exhaust fan systems to pull out all the odors, to keep the humidity and the smell at bay. But at the same time, you know, this gives them an option to grow basically anywhere. You can put it in the corner of a room and nobody's really going to know. You know, it's very discreet. But at the same time, you can put it in a bedroom closet. There's hardly any sound. It's a great way to grow. And especially for somebody that doesn't have room for a full grow tent or grow room in general. This gives them an option to grow something that they might not normally do. But this system also is developed where if you live in an apartment and you want to grow peppers or tomatoes or really anything you can put out in your garden, it gives you a chance to grow it right inside your house, and it's all concealed into one unit, to basically where you don't have to worry about it being messy or taking up too much space. I produced tomatoes for my grandfather. That was one of the first things we tried in our grow area. And when you're growing tomatoes when it's 12 degrees outside and you got a 1/2 foot of snow and they're fresh garden fresh tomatoes in the middle of a Michigan blizzard, you're like, man, this is nice. I'm on to something. Not saying that they haven't done it for years. All I'm trying to do is do it on a smaller scale. That's all. And we will show pictures, and we'll release some more. If you guys want to see more about this system, I will definitely try to release a little more information on it. We just got to see what kind of interest you guys as an audience have, and we want to hear your guys' input. Like I keep saying, we want to know what you guys want us to talk about. You know, you give us ideas, and we will do our best to report on it and try to cover that subject to the best of our knowledge and to the best of any professional guests we have that might be specialized in that field or that area of growing or whatever it may be that we are covering. It don't have to be just cannabis. We'll cover things from any business questions you have to, you know, cultivation, to grow tips, to food and food pairing, to music that we're listening to what we got going on in our grow room with our plants that week. We're going to keep you guys in the loop. And that's what Organically Blunt is about. Basically, we just tell you what is on our mind and what we think about something. We don't have it scripted, we don't have it filtered, and we don't do anything else. So we hope you're enjoying this show, because we're having a great time chatting it up. We're smoking on a little bit of, what did you bring tonight, Squints?
I done brought a little bit of GMO. Shout out to my guys over at White Cloud Dispensaries. They take care of me up in North Muskegon. Absolutely phenomenal people. Great customer service. I also visited up Skyman's once in a while. They were Emerald City back a few years ago. That was when me and Justin first came across the Grease Monkey strain. And I believe we smoked, probably about half a joint. And I think we took about a 5-hour nap from that one.
Definitely.
Grandpa was thinking we was drunk, man. That was a funny one.
Good days. You know, Twiggy here, like we mentioned, he's new to the show. He's new to a lot of this. This gives us all a chance to, after being in the pandemic, a lot of us might not admit it, but we've gained what they call social anxiety, me included. Got to get back out there, got to socialize, got to break back out of our shells and just enjoy life again a little bit. And this gives us a chance to do that and explore and meet a lot of people, because I'll admit it, I hate people. But I'll tell you one thing, I met a lot of interesting people in this industry, and some of these people I wouldn't trade for the world. And that's basically how I see it, Big shout out to a friend of mine, Rashonda. She knows who she is. Without you, I probably would have killed my plants. I wouldn't be where I'm at today. You definitely keep me motivated, you keep the knowledge rolling, and you're always showing me new tactics. I can't thank you enough. And huge shout out to Skillbo. You know who you are. Once again, just like I always say, man, I can't appreciate it enough, all the advice and the direction you gave me. Without you guys, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today, even recording this. So I can't thank you guys enough, and we hope to chop it up and collab with you guys soon here. Maybe do an episode together. Who knows? Definitely. I'm excited for what this year in general is going to bring for us. We got a lot of events lined up, a lot of opportunities. We're going to be covering a lot of different spectrums and a lot of fun things that you guys just stay tuned. Keep it locked, because I promise you, we will not disappoint you.
Now on that topic, Jay Blaze, how about you tell the audience kind of what we got going on? Because I know we are going through our Organically Blunt, and we got all this going on. But outside of Organically Blunt, what do we got coming up this year?
Well, definitely. We run another company here that we are starting another podcast with called Michigan Evening Out. It's been a company that's been around for roughly 12 years. We've had different employees on the roster in the past, but it's a business that I decided to bring back this year and get out there and explore not only my photography side of things, but it gives us a chance to explore these events, promote them back to you guys, cover them, be on a fully mobile podcast here, which means we can take this and we can basically set up in the middle of the Sahara Desert and do a live report for you guys, no problem, and be remote. And that's big for us, and that's big for this area, because not only have we had it before with other podcasts, but we haven't had any that covered what's going on in our area. And that's another option we're going to be bringing to these people outside of Organically Blunt. This is something that keeps us motivated and going. One of our other dreams and motivations is to get out there and be able to experience things that we've never experienced before, such as new foods, new restaurants, new events, new activities. I mean, it could be anything, All of us at the end of the day, we want to succeed at something. And if we can get the word out about somebody's new small business, always support your small local business.
Okay, speaking on the subject of events that we got coming up, me and Jay Blaze and Twigs run another sort of business. Not quite a business, but it's more so a family. We're going to call it, it's always been, West Mitten Crew. We've got a couple of things going on there. It is a car crew that we've got coming out of West Michigan. We put on multiple shows a year. We do multiple different events. Barbecue going on 6 years now?
6 years this year. Yep, definitely. We put this barbecue together out of our own pockets. We don't ask for anything in return. We give it out to the public. We cater the event with food. We cater it with entertainment. And a lot of these people right here listening right now are the people who keep this going every year. Every year I say to myself, well, we're going to do a barbecue this year. Well, every year we end up still doing it. We even did it with the COVID.
We argued about it for a while.
Definitely. But we took a lot of security measures. We made sure everybody was safe. I mean, and it still was a great turnout. Definitely. We try to work with charities each year. It might be a different one every year. Sometimes we do a repeat. It just depends on what the community needs at that time. And we just give everybody a chance to basically let their hair down, I guess you would say, and get out, enjoy the family, enjoy a local park, and enjoy some awesome cars. Because if you guys haven't noticed by now, all three of us guys, we're car guys. We like horsepower, we like gasoline, we like burnt rubber, we like the sound of a supercharger. I mean, we like the spool of a turbo. It's just what thrives us. At the end of the day, that's another thing that keeps us going, and that's what we all have passion about. And you'll hear us doing a lot of car talk too. So if you like cars and you like cannabis, this is definitely going to be a podcast for you. And now we're not saying getting behind the wheel and doing something under the influence. But definitely both of them are pretty great. So with that being said, this is probably one of those podcasts that you'll hear a lot of it.
Talk about We Discover Fest for a second. We did one with them last year that was an absolute banger. Super excited to do that one. I want to say again this year, I've heard rumor. I'm not gonna confirm. You gotta leave a couple things in the gray areas for you guys to get excited about here in the near future. Speaking of spectrums, let's talk about light spectrums and the different type of light bulbs that we got, man. There's CMH, there's metal halide, and there's just now, a lot of people are just now figuring out LEDs have been the new thing coming along the circuit, and they're really hot. We had Maxison, shout out. We're not sponsored by any of the lights that we're calling out today. We got a couple of Spider Farms, I know, and then we got a couple of other ones. The tent that we're running is a Viva Sun. Pretty decent. We've had a couple of issues.
It's definitely an entry-level tent. A lot of the problems with the tents nowadays is light leaks. Especially when you're running the photos, you don't want that light leak when the lights are off. It's supposed to be dark. It's supposed to be sealed, and that's the problem. Is a lot of quality. I mean, there's a lot of different brands out there that people are gonna know. There's Gorilla. There's Vivo Sun. There's AC Infinity just hit the market with their new tents. Them are great quality, top of the line.
Those have been looking nice, man.
They are real nice. I think that's going to be our next upgrade. Definitely in the grow room. Talking grow talk here.
I'm going to get excited about that one.
Definitely. It is one of those things that is still up in the air. We're going to see what else comes to the market in the next month to 2 months. We'll see, what's coming out as far as new products for the near future. AC Infinity, not sponsored by... I love their brand. I love their products. I guess you can call me a fanboy. Whatever. They definitely have one of the best customer services I've ever dealt with. You know where your product is coming along the process from order to your front door every step of the way. And if something's wrong, they take care of you. Like for our grow setup that we got now, I just ordered all AC intake and exhaust fans. And they were supposed to come with the new Bluetooth controller 69s. They did not. And I emailed them and I said, I ordered these after you guys said that all the products come with these. And they said, okay, no problem. We're going to send you the new ones out free of charge along with a shipping label. Ship the old ones back to us and you can keep the new ones free of charge. They upgraded me like that. Not only on 2 fans, but on all 3.
I'm actually going to give a shout out again over to Jamie at Danks, man. I remember when we first started in the basement, we had a couple of issues with, I want to say 3 of my phenos. I ended up actually emailing Dank and no trouble whatsoever. Sent me 6 phenos to replace.
Wow, definitely. His customer service is great. They always take care of us. Definitely, And, another thing we're going to try to cover eventually here, I don't know when, but sometime in the near future, I want to get into doing some breeding of my own, I want to do some crosses. I want to try to learn how to create my own strains. And this is just one of my, goals, something I want to learn, and I know there's some of you guys out there that do it. So if you got any advice, any tips for somebody getting started in that, don't be afraid to shoot us a message over on Instagram. We got that up and running. Organically Blunt on Instagram. All one word. Type it in. Get locked, get loaded, follow our grow. You can get linked into our fan club. Come on over to Facebook for now. Come into the grow room, ask questions, make suggestions, check out what we're going on. Check out what we have going on in our grows. We'll chop it up with you guys. We keep it real. We keep it loaded. Definitely, we're trying to connect with you guys on all levels. If there's a outlet that you guys want to hear us on, let us know. We plan to get on Spotify. We're going to try to get in on Stitcher. Some people listen to Pandora. We'll see what we can do to get on there. We will definitely try to get locked into all the outlets there. We're going to start our YouTube channel up, so keep that in mind. We'll be doing videos too. Not only Zoom interviews with some great upcoming people, but we have some interviews with some other growers, some other musicians. We're covering an event this summer, which is going to be great. A friend of mine, He runs Country Roots out of Newaygo, Michigan.
Yes, shout out to Chris.
Shout out to Chris. Definitely,
My man.
definitely. He puts on a whole, I don't even know what to call the event because I don't have the flyer in front of me.
I ended up going last year, man, me and the wife, and I'll tell you what, dude, that was awesome.
Definitely.
Met multiple different people starting up their own businesses. There was guys starting up fermented juices. I remember talking to you about getting into business with him a couple different times. I got to go again and see him this year, see what he wants to do with something.
Definitely.
Excited
I've already
to see what
talked
he
to
got
him
going.
and we got it loaded in. I was going to discuss it with you guys, but I guess now that it came to mind, no better time than right now. He's going to have some camping out there this year. It's a whole weekend event. Going to have live bands, live acts, live music. Sit around the bonfire, light up your stogie or your whatever you want to call it, your joint, your blunt. Definitely, you got to have your blunts. But definitely, and we just sit around and have a good time, chop it up. I'm hoping, a lot of these measures will be at bay by then, and we can actually enjoy things like they used to be. But even if we can't and we got a social distance, we're still going to have a great time out there like we did just this last season. I heard he had a great turnout. I didn't get a chance to make it up there. I was working. I apologize. But definitely this year I would like to make some time. We're going to come up there. We're going to set the podcast up. We're going to do a live remote show. We're going to interview some people. And we're going to keep it going. Right, Twiggy?
Yeah, that's right.
Definitely.
Oh, and on that note, I also want to put in there, especially with our podcast, we're hoping that, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to start getting some baskets set up. So we're going to start having some drawings and get some people out there. So that way we can hopefully get some people maybe here and there if you're really into growing and you do this stuff on your own, getting you some seeds out of some packs and just giving you stuff to test out, maybe some soil, maybe some shirts, t-shirts, like sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats, stuff like that. Just trying to get out there that this is a community that we're going to have come together.
Definitely. We're going to get back. We're working with some companies. We're in talk with a few companies. I got, we're going to give some phenos away. We're going to give away some
I'm excited.
Some grow bags setups. We're going to give away some different things that are basically going to help us all at the end. We are going to be signing up with Patreon pretty soon. So keep your eyes loaded for that. We will have our Patreon. We will be starting up a select fan club. You become a Patreon. I'm sure a lot of you know what Patreon is. If you don't, Google it and you'll get a better explanation than I can ever give you. Definitely. But it is a way for you to support the show. And that's what we're going to run off is your guys' support. Without you guys, we wouldn't be where we are today. Definitely. But what we would like to do is basically give you guys a chance to get in on a bunch of freebies, contests, giveaways, whatever you want to call it. We're going to basically make it so that you guys can enjoy the products that we enjoy and the strains we enjoy to grow and smoke.
Throw a rumor out there. I've got some of my own personal phenos that if we get enough people and we ended up doing a little bit more with the Patreon thing, you may just be able to snag one or two of them. I'm not going to give too many away, but there may be a couple of packs in the mix. We're going to see.
Definitely.
Maybe the special one. So,
yeah.
And I'd like to touch on the breeding aspect. Jay Blaze was talking about wanting to become a little bit more active in that.
Definitely.
That's going to be something that I'm super excited for. I've done it a couple of other times. We're going to have to definitely take care and be very, very vigilant on everything. It's going to have to be treated like a laboratory to an extent, man, because that's literally what
definitely.
It's going to be. And
cleanliness in your grow is very important. I'm learning
absolutely.
that. It's just it's like food, I mean, you're putting it in your body, and what you put in comes out. I hate to put it that way. So obviously, a lot of people don't endorse smoking it. They might eat it. They might whatever they want to do to consume the cannabis. They might, like I said, eat it. They might dab it. You might like it in the bong. I'm not into all that. I'm old school. I do apologize. I'm strictly a flower guy. I'll let you guys know that right off the rip. I'm a flower guy. But that's how I was, and that's what I like. But I don't condone it for any other ways. If you're into concentrate, distillates, whatever, that's your thing, you know. And I'm gonna learn about it because I definitely want to know more about this type of stuff. You know, a lot of this comes new to me as I'm an old school grower. I was taught by a man in his 80s. Well, just turned 80. Let me put it that way. The fundamentals of growing, and you know, I didn't have a lot of the new age products on hand, I guess you'd say.
Alright. But I'd like to educate you personally on the breeding aspect of things. A lot of people get really confused on how far pollen can truly travel. I would like to sit there and put out a fact, and again, correct me if I am wrong, but I remember it being something like 5 miles.
Yeah, I heard something about that. I heard that some of the hemp fields, such as out in Colorado and Oregon, if the pollen spurs off the male plants for their fields would blow with the right wind, they could carry up to 5 miles and pollinate somebody such as me or Twiggy or even you, Squints, is growing their backyard and turn it off from female to male plants, and you don't even know where the hell it happened.
Not necessarily. They could also perform, still make buds and still have seeds, and that's where a lot of the time we're running into seeds like this. And I would like to also promote that everybody's going to sit there and say, oh, where that specific pheno isn't going to be strong. But here's the thing. If you continue to breed that within itself each time and strengthen that pheno within the next 2-3 years of you producing that seed, believe it or not, the pheno is going to become stronger.
Definitely. And that's where I think, from my understanding, the different grading comes into fact. I don't know a lot about that. But I know you got your F3s, your F2s, your F1s. I've heard from a friend, shout out to Green Wolf Genetics.
Absolutely.
He knows who he is.
People.
He does a lot of breeding, and I follow him, and it intrigues me. And I'll tell you that they told me it's taken some of them F1s 2 to 3 years to get to that route before they were even at that level.
Consistent, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm talking thousands of seeds.
Yes, it's I'll tell you what, man. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. The pheno that I've got going is personally my Bubba Star. That's actually my Rock Star mixed with Bubba Kush. That one's definitely something nice. I actually want to have us personally put that in the grow at some point. Come here soon once this cycle is done with. We're gonna get pretty. I'm absolutely excited about that. I would love to talk more on it. I've got a couple of other phenos that I'd like everybody to kind of run.
We're going to be wrapping this one up pretty soon. We don't want to blab on too much. This is what we call our premiere episode. You know, this is our first one. Season 1, Episode 1. I know we made some mistakes. I know you'll probably hear them along the way. And we want to hear your input and how we can improve. Yeah, I got tongue twisted a couple times. But I haven't done this in years. I've done tape recordings back in the day thinking I was a radio DJ when I was a little kid. I ain't even going to lie. In my grandpa's garage. This was, oh man, now you're taking me back at my age here. We would record songs off the radio onto a cassette tape recorder, cut out the commercials, record in at the commercials our voices like we were a radio DJ.
I remember.
And we would produce our own mixtapes.
Hold on, flashback to my childhood when I was like 6 years old. I remember Grandma showing me those, dude.
Oh yeah, definitely. And they were...
That is hilarious.
That was back in the day, man.
Oh my, that was you?
Them were us. Nope, we did that. That just shows my age.
That's funny.
And you know, I mean, and basically, you know, it gives us a chance here to basically speak our minds and our voices. Like we said, we appreciate you guys listening to us. We're going to talk about some of the strains we're growing real quick off the top and give some quick shout outs here to the people who helped us gain these genetics. And we're going to wrap up this episode. So we'd like to give a shout out to Captain Redbeard and his genetics. We are growing one of his runts right now in the auto bucket system. Shout out to Sofem Genetics. We are growing one of their plushberry crosses and Twiggies set up.
That's going to be a good one, dude. I'm so excited to see that pheno.
I've actually seen pictures of a finished product one.
Really?
And I'm going to tell you, you're going to be shocked. It has definitely got a lot of color. and a lot of volume to it. I'm talking big, dense, fluffy. I know I say dense and fluffy, but they are huge buds. I'm talking
kind of like the OG Kush strain. It's just missing all the stem, man. Just all dead
So
fluff.
if you get a chance, and you want to check out some of the great genetics, definitely head over to SoFem Genetics. Tell them that Organically Blunt sent you, and they will hook you up. I promise you.
I also got to say, if you go through SoFem, even for my first time actually ordering seeds and getting some stuff, I do got to put a huge shout out to SoFem, because at first when we started, we were having a hard time actually being able to get my seeds and actually be able to get my payment down and get them all taken care of. Well, because of all that and actually having to hassle a little bit, they actually sent us some tester seeds, and that's the one I'm running right now, because I originally actually ordered some sauerkraut. Well, I've seen some pictures and I really liked it, but I wanted that little bit of mystery of not quite knowing what's gonna pop out of that seed. So I do got to give a shout out to them for that.
They definitely took care of you, definitely, because I know that they had some problems for a while there with the payment system. They finally got that down to where they need it to be, and that was a headache for a 24-hour period for us, because we really were excited to, pop some of their genetics for your first grow. We got Squints here. He's growing the Zittos by Dank, and like we swear up and down with Dank, he's the winner of the race. I mean, if we all popped their seeds.
Honestly, I gotta give a shout out, even though he is never gonna hear this unless, by God, one of our people listen to this. Shout out to my uncle, man. I'm not gonna give a specific name, but I roll around with him on a mat still to this day. I gotta show mad love to that man. He helped me. He definitely paved the way into the cannabis industry for me. Put me underneath many plants before I went solo. Gave me a lot of genetics. I got some AK-47 from him that is absolutely fire. I got some stuff from my buddy Sean. Absolutely fire. Not gonna say last names for copyright reasons. I cannot express enough that in this type of industry, you gotta show love to people, man. You can't sit there and just be stingy with things. I know I gave you, I just tossed you 6 seeds of my own pheno.
Yep, definitely.
We traded I want to say 2 seeds. You traded 2 seeds, and it's whatever, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm excited to see you grow, bro. That's the only thing
we
I'm
definitely,
gonna get from it,
and that's the thing with me.
That's
I
the
collect,
passion
I
and
collect
motivation,
genetics. Man. I collect different phenos. I'm a pheno hunter. I'm always looking for different flavors. I like variety. I've always been that way, and it's kind of like collecting baseball cards, You pop open your collection, and you're like, oh, I got this, and it's...
Can't ever have enough of the Mets, man.
You can't have enough of the Barry Sanders rookie cards, I mean, definitely, or the Steve Yzerman rookie card, or whatever drives you. But that's what it's like for phenos for me, I pop open the case, and I'm like, man... Okay.
Speaking of being excited about phenos, I got some Fruity Pebbles on the way that I'm absolutely ecstatic about, man. Ooh,
definitely.
And it's an auto.
Okay. We definitely can get a turnaround on that. Definitely.
I've only done a few, man.
The thing with autos, I'm learning, that is to be the most successful with them. Just a tip here: low stress training.
Absolutely.
Everybody says, well, what do you do with them? That's all you should do. That's all you should do to an auto, though. Low stress it, maybe some defoliate. When I defoliate, I try to take no more than 30% at a time, but I do it around the 3rd week with an auto, and then I call it good for a while. Unless it needs it. Because if it's blocking too much light, you definitely want to get light to the buds.
Absolutely.
But they are one of the things that I tell everybody. They can be finicky, but they can be great for learning at the same time.
Yes.
Some people run as much as,
I know people...
21 hours on, 3 hours off.
Yes.
I've heard people running at full 24-hour light. I personally run an 18.6, give them a little bit of rest, but also, hey, no disrespect. I'm on a budget, and I'm trying to keep the electric bill down a little bit. But LEDs has definitely helped in that, because we tried running CMH once, and I can tell you that not only was it hot and we had to keep the temperature down, but it definitely made that electric meter seem like it was on a merry-go-round. I'll tell you, that thing was spinning.
Shoot, that thing was like a Mario Kart.
And LEDs have came a long way since then. We will definitely be cracking into that subject too, so keep it
Absolutely.
locked.
That's going to be another one up for discussion on the next episode. But,
Definitely. I'm trying to get a rep from Spider Farmer, one of the light companies that we have done some testing for in the past, and see if I can't get one of the reps on, talk about the technology, talk about, different aspects of the light and how the technology has came over the last couple years, and maybe get a couple other brands on there too. AC Infinity just came out with light. I'm definitely want to get my hands on one eventually. It's called the AC Infinity Blackbird, and I can tell you what, that thing is
what's
insane.
The output on that, man?
I do not know off the top of my head. They got different sizes, but I can tell you I would like to get something set up that'll cover at least a 5x5 area. I know they got a lot of different light setups coming in.
I would also like to personally note that a lot of people are going to sit there and say, oh, well, my light covers a 5x5 radius. I would like to actually confirm with a lot of people that when you switch that over to flower it changes. Actually shrinks.
Yes.
And that's kind of the issue why a lot of people want to do lollipopping, or they add extra lights into the tent.
Definitely.
I know that we're speaking of adding a couple of extra lights into the tent ourselves because we may run into light issues.
Definitely, yeah. And we want to keep it to where they can absorb and get as big as possible and basically get that light input that they need. I mean, we don't want to sacrifice anything. Yeah, it might cost us a little bit at the end, but look if you're growing your own, and I have no problem with dispensaries. Everybody likes to go to them, but I'm a grower, and I feel if I can grow it myself and not only save myself $1, but I'm going to also learn something along the process of that strain too and growing it, that, it gives you a chance to basically save in the end, because
yes.
Like for me, example, this past harvest that I just had, I grew Purple Punch from Dank. And I can tell you right now, an ounce of that was going right here in this town. Last I checked, for $250 an ounce.
That's absolutely bonkers.
Yes, and to be able to smoke something on that you grew not only to the same quality, if not better. I mean, it's all on your personal opinion, once again, and I'm not vouching off quality control here at all. I'm just saying, I grew it fully organically, and I can tell you that it was a great smoke. I'm still smoking on it. Yeah, my summer stash is dwindling down, but we started our grow season right at the right time, because as soon as I'm tapped out, I'm gonna have some fresh stuff to smoke on, so I can't complain one bit. Definitely.
Swiggy, you stayed a little quiet over there with me, man. Go ahead and see what you got cooking up for this year, man. What's some of your goals for this year with all this?
Not fuck up my plant.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to fuck up your plant.
I guess.
But I can tell you that we are gonna hit issues with different plants. They're gonna have
almost certainly. I've been doing this.
The biggest problem is, I swear, if it ain't aphids, it's spider mites.
Only. I've only been doing this since I was about 16, so we're gonna go ahead and not do the math on that. Educational purposes only.
Right.
Not legal action.
But I can tell you that a good IPM is definitely going to help you.
Yes.
And you should practice weekly IPMs, if not every couple days, depending on how much of an infestation you have. But to keep them at bay, I personally use Lost Coast Plant Therapy. I mean, it's all organically made. It's not hurting your plants. It's not hurting what you put into your body. So with that being said, no more shout-outs. We could go all night long. But I think we're going to wrap this episode up. Thank you all for listening. Have a wonderful night.
Let's go ahead and hit the horn on this one on the way out today, fellas. I cannot wait to see episode 2.
All right.
Let's go.
And y'all have a wonderful night.